Welcome aboard, everyone.
Ahoy, Captain!
What's up?
Hello. Long time no see.
Lando!
Yeah, it has been a while.
Yeah, it
hmm
has. Good to be back.
We've missed a whole show of, I
Yeah.
guess, reactions or reviews. I don't know. I kind of wanted to do a, even though wasn't planning on it from the start. After we missed a couple, I was like, I kind of just want to do a whole one-off review because I wasn't expecting WandaVision to be
Good.
as hype as
Good.
well.
Yeah.
At first, yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be good before I started watching it, but also I wasn't expecting it to be like as hype as we were for The Mandalorian or anything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But let's start with today's holiday. I guess that's something we should always do. Today's Barbie Day.
What?
Today, March 9th, 2021.
Yes. It's also National Get Over It Day, which is
Oh.
purposely taking place between Valentine's Day and April Fool's Day.
I don't
So I
think
guess
I'll
so you
ever
can get over
over
your post-breakups.
Get over my ex. Okay.
Get over your
I'll let you
man
know
getting
that.
you a
OC
bad
would be a fan of
Valentine?
this one. They'd be like, time to break up.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. Bro.
Well, that's
Anyway.
it's an
Lots of
interesting
dish, OC.
holiday.
Yeah. Do you celebrate that?
Which one?
Any of them?
Wait, what was the question?
Never mind. Okay, WandaVision.
Yeah. What's going on? So what was everyone's like assumptions before we started watching the show? Because where I was is like I didn't think it was going to be any good.
I'll second
I was
that.
like, Wanda, Vision.
I would say
I didn't really care about those characters.
absolutely agreed. I'd say yeah, the bar was very, very low for me.
Mm-hmm.
I actually was super excited for it, just based off the trailer and seeing like the weird sitcom-y stuff. I thought I was kind of hyped just to see like what the heck they were doing. Like the mystery and the weirdness of it is what got me interested. I don't particularly care for Wanda or Vision. At least I didn't. I would say I do now that I've had the whole show
Yeah.
with them. But yeah, I was
Yeah,
intrigued by the mystery.
That's interesting because I've kind of liked Vision quite a bit since he was introduced in Age of Ultron, just because Paul Bettany does such a good job.
Oh, he's great. And he's funny in this show.
I know.
He's really funny. He plays it great.
He's so good.
I think that was probably the biggest accomplishment of this show was they actually made me care about two lesser known characters
Right.
being Scarlet Witch and Vision. Because
Dilly,
now going forward,
yeah.
that's who I want to look at. I don't really care about Bucky and Falcon anymore.
True, they'll
But
have
maybe,
to.
maybe their show will do the same thing.
Maybe their show will
right?
be
Lightning
a
will
lot.
have to
Yeah.
strike twice. That's for sure. Dilly, what'd you
Yes,
think? dude?
Isaac.
Yeah, Dilly.
Of the show,
Yeah, what'd you think
Um,
going in? Like, you saw the trailer. How did it
so-
sit with you?
obvious. The trailer, I was kind of like, okay, I'm not all that interested. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think they're good characters, but I think they're good. Well, until this show, I thought they were good supplement characters.
Oh,
Like doing them by themselves seemed really poor, like a poor decision.
Like, not everyone needs to be a
Um,
lead.
Yeah. After the show, it was good. I liked it. I understood where the sword guy was coming from at first, because I was like, bruh, she's got a whole, like, 3,000 people held hostage. Like, she's definitely in the wrong for kidnapping all these people. But then he went a bit too gung-ho about it. I was like, okay, well now you're both just in the wrong.
Yeah.
So
He started off fairly reasonable, and then he kind of went psycho.
He's probably one of my biggest complaints about that show is Hayworth. Is it Hayward or
I
Hayworth?
think it's Hayward.
Haymaker is he's a cartoon villain. He's a mustache
Yeah.
twirler, and
Yeah.
he starts out
Well said.
I think like a good character. Like he's a snap survivor, and yeah, Wanda's holding this town hostage. But then at the end, my dude's pulling out the blicky against two 10-year-olds for no reason, and he's like a complete
Yeah.
asshole to Wanda when she comes to see Vision, like for no reason. It's like we can do better. I know Marvel can do better. They've done amazing villains,
You know,
but it feels like all the villains in this show kind of sucked.
now that I think about
Yeah.
it, if he were to actually hit those kids with the gun, it wouldn't actually do anything because they didn't technically exist in reality.
Right.
That's
So
really
would
weird
it
to think about.
would it like,
Anyway.
glitch through them?
Rabbit trail for something we can revisit at the end, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, well, we can get into. Well, let's do our favorite parts first, and then we can get into critiques.
All right.
What was like your favorite episode slash moment? My favorite two episodes were the first two,
Mm.
just because I thought the show was at its strongest at the beginning, which I think may be an unpopular opinion
When
with
the
the
mystery
weirdness
was
and
the
the
strongest.
I actually totally agree with you.
I
the
do
loony
too.
world. Because
I
after
totally
seeing the
agree.
same thing, I think I finally got the superhero fatigue that everyone talks about, or like I really agree with the whole uh, analysis of every Marvel movie kind of being the same.
Yeah.
Like I find it really hard to go back and watch some of the solo films like later on in the Infinity Saga.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Because
I
they're so cookie cutter.
like we'll rag on Captain Marvel and Black Panther, but like even ones
They're all
I
the
think
same.
Ant-Man's are really boring.
Yeah.
Even like I mean the Iron Mans were kind of early on, but Iron Man 3 I think I guess Iron Man 3 was actually one of the most more unique ones. Films that don't have to do an origin story I thought were better than the ones that had to because we've
for
seen a
sure.
superhero origin so many times.
Right.
I also really like the how character-driven Iron Man 3 is. It does suck that the Mandarin reveal was obviously just completely fake, but
And lame.
I like a lot of the character stuff it did. But yeah, um, I totally agree that the first two episodes were the strongest, and
Me too.
I would say the reason why, and I talked with Dilly about this a little tiny bit the other day, is basically that WandaVision is kind of two different shows for me. And obviously there's the show within the show, blah blah blah. I'm not exactly referencing that. I'm kind of thinking more like there's what happens inside the hex, and then there's what happens outside the hex. And one of those storylines is super interesting. It kept me hooked, and I wanted to keep watching. And the other storyline there was super boring, and I was honestly just frustrated every time we
Every
went
time it
to
switched
it.
over.
So
Uh-huh.
being outside the
Yeah.
hex, those characters just they weren't compelling to me. And it's funny because like the chick who is Geraldine in the hex, I can't remember her name outside of it.
Monica.
Monica.
Rambo.
Yeah, I really liked her when she was in the hex as Geraldine, and that would have been super compelling to have her and Vision like work through the mystery together without Wanda knowing.
Right.
Things
in
like
the hex.
that in the hex.
context of that.
Because every
world,
time we
yeah.
go out, it's just like there was literally a point where the show would show us something in the hex, and it revealed it to us, and then the characters outside would go, "Oh, so this is what's happening," and it was just
Right.
like the most obvious breaking of show don't tell, and it really bugged me.
Right.
So
Yeah. I'll leave with my second favorite thing. My second favorite thing besides the looniness of those early two episodes was I thought the performance slash character development of Wanda and Vision, which I kind of already talked about, helped a lot because I ended up caring a lot about those two characters by the end.
Yeah, me too.
And I care a lot about them going forward as part of like the replacements for Tony Stark and Cap.
I would say
Like-
I am excited to see. I don't know about White Vision, but I'm excited to see Wanda again. Like I know she's going to be in
Yeah.
Doctor Strange 2. I'm looking forward to see what she does in that show. And she's not a character I've ever really cared about. She's hot,
No.
but now I actually care, other than just seeing a nice face.
Way to stick to our label, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Our label?
I will say, I totally agree on the first two episodes. I think they're super strong. I also just like that kind of 50s, 60s Dick Van Dyke atmosphere. But my favorite moment in the show is when Vision and Wanda. I don't remember. I don't remember what era they're in. I think it's the 80s, but they're arguing over the credits of the show.
yeah,
And
That's pretty
they're like
great.
screaming at each other while the credits are going by, and then
Oh.
they're like
yeah.
flying in the air, and that's when fake Pietro comes. That whole like final bit there, I think is probably my favorite in the show. Just the tension rising that much, while the cheery atmosphere is still going on in the background and stuff. Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Isaac?
Dude, I would totally agree. That sequence was wild, and it really kind of set the internet on fire with the theories of how the X-Men Quicksilver showed up in the MCU, and it was just such an interesting time for the show because everybody was so interested and there was so much mystery still. And then
I'm glad it came out weekly. I think
mhm.
just embroiling myself in the mysteries every week for each new episode was.
For sure, it's
It's
been
really
a
special.
while. I guess with Mando every week I was anticipating an episode, but other than that, TV shows usually don't hook me. So
Mm-hmm.
they did a good job of keeping things fresh for the most part with the early
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
The latter half struggled a bit for me, but the early stuff was so good.
Yeah, I think the last super great episode was the Halloween one that ends with Wanda expanding the hex.
That one
was
is
the last
really
one
dope.
where it ended with me being like, oh, and then all of them after that were like, eh.
Yeah.
Like the Agatha reveal, I was like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, it is a shame that we live in a universe where there are so many comic book nerds and they're all like, and this is gonna be Agatha Harkness, and it's like,
Right.
oh, thanks for explaining that.
Thank you. Now I.
This is why I'm glad I don't Google Marvel stuff, because I never get superhero
Hmm.
info like in my YouTube recommendations.
Oh, okay. I
Gotcha.
always watch the
Okay,
Easter
okay.
egg videos, and those are like unintentional spoilers because it's theories at that point. So
Right. Like all the Flea stuff with Mephisto,
yeah, yeah.
which did not pan out. But, it's
Mhm.
fine. It's whatever. It's fine.
Dilly, did you have a favorite moment?
Favorite
What?
moment?
Excuse me.
I actually liked when um what's the word? It's when Scarlet Witch creates the magic runes.
At the
I
very end?
actually
On the
yeah,
sky.
in that fight. I actually really liked that
too.
because like it made sense. Like I was like, "Oh, this is actually really smart."
Yep.
I was like, "She's not missing like she's missing on purpose." Like I was watching the fight, I was like, "She's not bad.
Mhm.
She's doing something." And then they revealed it. I was like, "Okay, this makes sense."
Yeah, that was pretty clever writing. That's really the moment that takes the cake for best in the show to you. That's definitely
I
a
actually
surprise.
also have a different opinion. I didn't like the first two episodes.
Yeah,
Okay.
a little too.
Yeah, I thought they were really boring.
They relied too much on like the emulating older shows for you.
Yeah, I don't really care about those older shows. So
Right.
Okay.
I guess
That's-
with
I
the
think if
very
you're just in it
perfectly
for
fair.
like the development of the MCU story, those first two episodes don't do a whole lot for you.
Right. The mystery doesn't super develop there.
It's kind of just the novelty of that different art style.
Yeah.
So I see how you would think that.
You didn't even
Um,
like Wanda's magic outfit?
no, I didn't. I didn't.
Damn.
Well, I mean, I didn't hate it, but I wasn't like, ooh. I wasn't a freaking monkey over it.
I was a monkey. I went full chimp mode.
I can see Jeremy doing the glasses move he always does.
Oh, he's zooming in.
Whoa!
He's zooming in.
Nice outfit, Wanda. Woohoo! That's
What
me.
was this one might take a bit longer. What were you guys' like harshest critiques of the show?
There's a lot.
I got a lot to say. I think.
Okay, let me actually throw this question out real quick.
Okay.
And this might be a hard question to answer, but
Sure.
of the two shows, which do you think were better, Mandalorian or WandaVision?
That is tricky.
I'd say overall Mandalorian because it ends way more satisfyingly than WandaVision did.
That is true.
Okay.
I like Star Wars more than Marvel, so Mando
Fair enough.
wins.
Okay.
Yeah, I would
Wait.
probably support that line of.
Also, I'm a huge Mandalorian fan, so
Yeah, get
anything related to that culture, I'm like all in for.
plus
Mhm.
getting Luke
That's fair.
partially fixed up
Oh, yeah.
really helps after
Yeah.
years of
I think I'll
just-
agree too. The only thing I'll say is I think WandaVision handled its time better. Like to me, WandaVision wasted
more efficient.
less of my time.
That
Yeah.
that I would
Whereas
agree with. The pacing is way
Mandalorian,
better.
there was just a bunch of ping pong ball like around the galaxy, and nothing would happen.
Yeah, Wanda did not have to fix her ship or go on a fetch quest. If I recall.
Yeah.
It's true.
Okay, but okay, critiques now. I'll go last this time.
Yo, Dilly should kick this one off. What?
Yeah,
Yeah, let's have
go
Dylan kick it off.
You want me
Go
to kick this
Dylan.
off?
Go
Yeah, what you
Dylan.
Oh. Critiques. I'm trying to find something that's not just me, because, like, I'm not a huge fan of, like, the old, like, 80s family shows, so... trying
That
to
can
find
be
something
that
that's-
can be like
that's-
your easy
That's-
ball. Like so, one of yours is the
Like the different themes.
The concept.
the experimentation of the themes, kind of not really adding anything to the
Yeah.
Marvel storyline.
Need some time to
Trying
think
to
on that
think.
one.
Yeah,
You can
because
pass
there's
if
like,
you wanna pass.
like I always like made jokes about like how Wanda was like, oh boo hoo, my lover died, let me kidnap a bunch of people. But I was like,
Okay.
but I get it, like tragedy can do a lot to a person, and they also like emphasized that she didn't do it on purpose; it just sort of happened, and then she just didn't undo it.
I really wish.
So I was like, okay,
Yeah, I really wish though that they would be like, okay, so at the very end, the show actually makes a point of saying that Wanda was technically right because Monica, is that her name?
Monica Rambeau.
Rambo,
Yeah.
Yeah,
whatever.
Monica Rambeau.
She literally goes, "They'll never know what you sacrificed." It's like, bruh,
Nothing.
she'll never know
Like-
what she took from them. Like, she took
Yeah.
literally everything from for a long time.
Bruh, literally the nanosecond any of those people gets lost out of Wanda's control, they go, hey, please, can I just see my kid?
They're,
They
like,
start begging her
crying.
for stuff,
Yeah.
bruh. They're crying and sobbing, and it's like, oh, they don't know it, but you're a hero. Is she? Is she a hero? Is
Not
that what
to
she
them.
Is that what she, oh, she's a hero. Okay, I forgot
See,
brainwashing the whole town is
And it would
being
be
a hero.
totally different if they just go, well, Agatha all along, she was controlling all the people and she made Wanda think she was doing it. But that's not what they did. It was clearly
Right.
Wanda.
What?
You
what
were
did
this
Agatha
close.
Do? What was her all along? What was Agatha all along? Nothing. She
But
didn't
here's-
do anything.
Here's another thing.
Don't
I
do that,
like
man.
that they were like brave enough to make one of their flagship characters like not perfect.
Uh-huh.
So in the same aspect, like it was like I made jokes about it, but I was like, at least she has flaws. Like
Right.
at least she messed up and can admit it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's very
Totally.
Scarlet Witch. So I think they handled that well.
Okay, I don't quite know who we're on.
Wait, see,
After that.
I
Defer to
started
Bear Me
interrupting.
Ball.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay though. That's
was
okay
it.
though.
I
think
got.
those are
Yeah,
good
I
points,
didn't.
though.
I didn't really give an answer. So
Well, you made us talk about stuff, so.
Thanks, Dylan. You were a springboard.
I think we'll call you good,
no,
Dylan.
no problem.
We said you could
Okay,
go
bye.
first, and we interrupted you instead. So thanks.
Who went right before Dylan last? I think it was Jeremy or Isaac.
I don't know.
Go ahead, Jeremy
Okay.
Bout.
Just go ahead,
okay.
Jeremy.
I got a lot for you guys. I already mentioned Hayworth was a mustache twirler. Oh man, where do I even start? I think the absolute biggest thing is that ultimately the show doesn't. Everything it sets up, it doesn't end up doing anything with. Especially like the Pietro thing, where it's like, oh, actually, his name's Ralph Boner. It's a boner
Okay.
joke, and it's like.
I like
that's
the
it?
boner joke, I'll admit it.
But it's. I mean, I did
Right.
smirk a little bit.
It leads to
But-
nothing.
When you have this like meta thing of you cast Evan Peters and he played Quicksilver before in the Foxman universe, and this movie is connected to a movie called Multiverse of Madness, and we don't know what the heck's going on with Spider-Man, but it's connected to that too.
Yeah.
And then he turns out to be a guy named Ralph Boner, and that's it.
Do you think that
that's
they'll
it.
retcon that? They totally could.
They could.
I don't know.
And I think they should, because for right now it just is annoying. It's like, oh, because the whole week's like, oh man, the mystery of like, oh wow, the Foxmen, are they gonna bring over Hugh Jackman? Are they gonna cast new Foxmen? Is this how they're introducing the multiverse? Oh no, he's boner joke. That's it.
He's literally a boner joke, and that's all.
Okay,
Sweet.
great. So they established this mystery for the fans and for the, for the characters. Like, oh, who's this fake Pietro? And then the answer is not satisfying to either party.
Mhm.
I mentioned this already, but Agatha doing stuff all along, she didn't really do anything. She made fake Pietro, but that's it. But he ended up just grabbing Monica and hanging out with her in his room, and then he got friggin' body slammed or whatever, and that was it. So I think she should have been actually in control of the Hex. That would have been a big fix for me.
I think Agatha falls in that category of just Marvel villains who are there just to say they're in the movie, and they just
Right.
kind of fill the bad guy
Yeah,
role.
like, oh, we put in this character.
Yeah, because she definitely upped the stakes by revealing that she can absorb her power. But
But why
Man.
does she even want to do that?
Yeah.
What's her motivation? She's just like, I absorb power. It's what I do.
it wasn't
It's like,
clearly
okay,
explained.
for what? What are you doing that for? She's like,
Also-
I can make your powers.
That is
What? For
that
what?
reminds me. That's one thing I didn't like about their fight. Is she's basically like this energy absorber, and like yeah, she casted the runes, so she can't cast magic. But why does Wanda suddenly get all the energy back?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense
Yeah.
at all.
Right?
Like,
Right?
are they trying to imply that she just has so much that it doesn't really matter?
I guess, yeah.
In which case, it's kind of like,
Technically,
oh,
then
okay,
what's
so
the
their
issue?
fight was kind of.
Technically, Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, can create. Isn't that something that was established in the show?
Okay.
So she probably
Okay, I see what you're saying.
recreated herself, which makes sense because she gets that new sort of outfit thing going on. But that's not. We could have used something afterwards, like
I
the
don't think
kids
it
could have.
would've-
Yeah, I would have. That's one of the moments where I would have appreciated like an explanation comment.
It wouldn't have
Because
hurt to have
sometimes
another
like
episode
they
with that.
over-explain. It's like, okay, yeah, I knew that,
We literally.
but
just
that was one of
watched
those
it.
moments where I was like, wait.
Yeah, I get you.
Let me just say this. It's 2021, and we are still doing the villain that has the same powers as the hero, but they have opposite colored CGI and they shoot at each other.
Not
not
to
once.
mention, yeah,
But twice! In the same episode!
and both of them, all four
The
people,
Voldemort and Harry Potter beam
Yes!
thing.
Together!
bro,
We're-
all
we're
four
really
of
doing
them
it.
are just flying the entire time, so like nothing has any consequence for the viewer. It's just
It's so floaty. And is this the show for that? Does WandaVision seem like the show for big flying confrontation in the air?
it's pretty
I
weird.
wouldn't think so.
Yeah. I do love that it was resolved by
I mean-
like knowledge and.
I don't
wisdom.
see them as on the ground fighters like at all.
I mean, like, do they need to, like, fight like that at all, though? Like, do we need to have the clashing CGI beams, you know?
Yeah, it would have been nice. They experimented with so much. It would have been nice to see them take a risk of just sort of remixing that whole approach.
Yeah.
To me, that was the show at its lowest, is when it went back to just a CGI fight.
Yeah.
Although
did
I
like
think
the Ship of
Marvel
Theseus
is
thing.
usually pretty creative with how they like use their superheroes' powers and fight scenes.
Oh,
To me, that's why I was like, okay, I've seen this before,
yeah.
but
I did like the Ship of Theseus thing with White Vision. I don't like White Vision. I don't think he needs to be there. Also, he dips. But I liked that.
isn't he gonna
conversation
just
between the
change his colors though? Because he can grow capes and stuff. Why can't he just?
I couldn't tell you. He just
Is
left.
he
Oh.
technically Vision now? Like he has all Vision.
He is the real Vision, which is weird. He's the
And-
Like
real
he's the
Vision
body that
without
Thanos ripped the
Mind
stone out of.
Yeah. So something I don't
And-
get is
So
people
he's a
keep
much
saying,
realer Vision than the actual like Hex Vision.
people keep saying like, oh, he transferred his memories over, but he doesn't have the emotions. And I'm like, but aren't emotions like inherently attached to memories? Like, aren't those kind of a given? So why does he just dip out?
Well, when you're a
Yeah.
vibranium robot,
That's true. I'm not a synthezoid, so I don't know. I don't know how Mind Stones work. But I would think maybe he would be interested in helping Wanda somehow. But he's like, I'm the Vision. Bye, Psst, and leaves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know where he ends up.
he just goes rogue.
And I don't even know. I don't know when we're gonna see him again.
Also, Mind Vision should have totally told Wanda that, like, hey, the Romy is out there. You can go be happy with him
Or
before he gets vaporized by the closing wall. Which also, I told Jeremy about this a little bit ago. Is Agatha free now?
oh yeah,
Because
we were talking
Right.
about that.
Because
she turns her back into sitcom Agatha or Agnes
while they're in
That's
the
another
hex.
complaint I have.
Yeah.
while they're in the hex, and then the hex
that.
closes. And everything we've seen in the show is the hex is what controls that power.
Could you imagine how lame that would be if they're like, "Oh, she
Oops.
was mind controlled for
Aw,
4
man.
seconds."
I forgot. Can I just
Yeah.
say, why is it okay for Wanda to brainwash Agnes in front of all the people that she just brainwashed? Like, oh, because she's a bad guy, it's okay to turn you into some sitcom character? That's barbaric.
Yeah.
That's horrible. What? I cannot believe they had Wanda do that. I was like flabbergasted. Are you for real? They're actually having her turn her back into Agnes, the nosy neighbor.
So, if you're in that situation, what do you do to contain Agatha then?
Ice her. Put her on the ground.
Okay.
Just end it.
So
Yeah,
death
in
is
front
the
of all
better
the people you
alternative.
brainwash. Yeah.
I honestly do think death would be a better alternative than brainwashed sitcom person. But I don't know. I'm not Wanda.
Okay,
Am I?
Isaac, your turn.
Yeah, sorry, it took forever.
So
That's
now
okay.
we all know that if it comes down to it, Jeremy will kill anyone.
Yes, I will not brainwash you.
He's Superman snapping Zod's neck for the greater good.
Ah!
He didn't want to, but he left
But I
him
did
no
it anyway.
choice.
Mm,
Okay,
Alright, it's all you.
lowest points of the show. I'm gonna hit you with a super general one.
Okay.
Anything that happens outside the hex is unnecessary.
I was just writing that down for mine.
It
Like
really
Darcy.
just slows down the pacing. It doesn't tell us anything actually new. And besides, even if it does, it'd be way more engaging if we learn it within the hex. Like Vision figures it out. Imagine they show us nothing outside of the hex. Vision decides he's gonna go out, and we just see a bunch of military people, and we're like, "What the
Yeah.
heck?" It's like
That would have been way more.
that would have been
I agree.
chills. I would have been freaking out. I wouldn't have been able to sleep because I'd be like, "What's going on?" Just my mind would keep going. But instead, we get Darcy going, "Haha, comic relief."
My coffee? Can I have my coffee?
Coffee, yeah. Which was unfortunate. I liked Monica as Geraldine, and I absolutely hated it when she got superpowers for
Oh,
a
man.
really weak reason.
Me too.
And then, not only that, I'm fine with her getting superpowers, but then she does a superhero landing to showcase that she got powers. And then she doesn't do anything with the powers for the rest of the show.
Well,
like,
what are her
what?
powers?
Her powers, yeah, exactly. Her powers are super vague. She does a superhero landing, and then she's just done. What?
She can
She manipulates
use
energy, is
detective
all I've
vision and
seen.
turn into anti-bullet jello. That's all I know that she
Who
can
thought
do.
this through? Well, yeah, she uses her powers at the end to save the kids. The kid has super speed, and the other one has telekinesis. They're fine. Also, they don't even exist, so sorry. Man, yeah, that really covers a lot with just a couple statements there, because like, it really is just two different shows for me, and
I'll
one of
I'll
them is just
elaborate
so
off that
weak.
for my 2 cents. Because that was what I was gonna say. Is anything that happens outside the hex, I thought was just kind of boring and I didn't care
It
about.
was
But I'll
genuinely
elaborate and say
frustrating for me.
the character motivations of outside the hex I didn't buy. So Doctor D-Bag or Director D-Bag, like
Hayward.
I did not understand why. Well, it wasn't even his motivations. To me, he seemed like he was actually doing the right thing. But then the show would kind of go out of its way to make you like, oh, he's definitely like this gun-wielding secret agent, like jerk that you
Yeah.
should not like.
That kind of
Right.
reminds me that the show really does. While it's not as blatant as some entries into shows, WandaVision has a pretty clear political agenda, which It's just gonna happen. Anybody who creates anything is gonna
Right.
have a political bias.
Sure.
But like,
It's gonna happen. But to me, I was just
it could have been handled
like if
better.
I was one of the people in this town and I'm under the spell, where I take like I get my free will taken away from me, and then I get relieved of the spell, and then I find out. I mean, he gets arrested, so they probably don't even know. But I find out here's this like guy who was sitting out here the entire time with his troops trying to get in and save us. Like I'm pretty sure that guy would be like hailed as a town hero in real life if that happened.
Can I ask a question before I forget? I don't want to
Go
cut
ahead.
you off, Ethan.
No,
but
go ahead.
What did Hayward get arrested for?
I don't know.
Attempted
I mean,
murder of unexisting.
He tried to
children?
shoot kids, which when he did that, I was like,
Yeah.
why?
That was
Like,
a pretty big bra moment, but who told the FBI that? Isn't he the director of Sword? He doesn't have like some clout.
Was
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Was
Was he
he just gets
arrested
taken
for-
away?
what he did with Vision's body? Maybe. Like,
Maybe.
is that technically his?
I don't think they
property,
tell
or-
us what he gets arrested for. We just see him getting carted off. I don't know.
like, even if that is illegal, what he did with the Vision's body, I don't think they would go and arrest him because how would they know?
Also,
Like, I'm pretty sure that would be like under the table.
assuming Sword is in the same bed as Shield, which it is, but Shield does morally or questionable stuff in regards to the law all the time. You think Nick Fury does stuff he doesn't get arrested for all the time? No, that dude's breaking like every law ever. So why can Hayward
Yeah.
not do the same thing? Especially since he's trying to save a town full of people kept hostage. I don't get what he gets arrested for. Okay, sorry, Ethan, go ahead. I just wanted
That's
to get
okay.
that out before I forgot.
Yeah. So Hayward, I was like, I don't get why he's the villain. I mean, I get why, but he doesn't seem like he should be. And then Monica Rambeau, it's kind of the other side of that coin. I don't know why she's siding with Wanda, because
So
she's
vehemently,
literally
too.
like she's actually
I-
witnessed what these people have gone through.
I think
And-
the reasoning is my mother died recently, so I understand what it's like to lose someone.
Right.
Sure.
I
Okay.
think that's their.
I would agree with what Dylan said, but like, it's.
I don't know if that
yeah.
makes sense to me when she knows that these people are like basically held captive, and when we do see them, I mean the show paints it pretty well that like they're in agony. Like doesn't someone say just let me?
Yeah, apparently
Die?
her
Yeah.
like emotions are like bleeding over into them.
Yeah, they even have her nightmares,
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which is intense.
that's pretty creepy.
That's
So they pitted Monica and the FBI agent. I can't remember his name.
Jimmy Woo.
Yeah, they pitted them against this Hayward guy a lot, and I didn't. My thoughts on the situation didn't match theirs. It's like this seems like what he should be doing. He's just he's just like an agent, and here's this girl who can kill Thanos with her mind, like controlling people and creating this
Right.
like profound thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't understand. I mean, I probably get why, because you got to make the heroes go against the bad guy.
I think
But-
you still could have had him be an antagonist without having him be like a villain, because they made him a villain.
Yeah,
He pulled
the
out
mustache
Glock
twirling.
on kids.
Yeah,
Like they went from their ideologies on how to deal with this are different to he wants to freaking shoot a rocket at Wanda and her children while they're on the porch.
Yeah.
Yo, wait. Okay, real quick. What happened to the beekeeper guy, man? I was waiting the
Dude.
whole show for him.
I wanted him to be the main antagonist so bad because he was just so.
wasn't he
random.
just like a search and rescue guy?
Yes,
Yeah,
they did
he
actually
gets,
show
he
that.
Gets rewound and we don't see him again.
Yep.
I wanted to know what happened to him. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Like I wanted him
But
to be
I-
an actual
Okay.
character too. He just.
Yeah.
It's just one of the characters that Jeremy took an immediate interest in.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
It was
hey.
super
Oh,
interesting.
I thought
'cause,
Jeremy
like,
was about to say something about like, oh, there's this beekeeper,
Actually,
like,
there's a
superhero
beekeeper
in the
character
comics.
In one
Bee
comic,
Man.
they get Scarlet
and that
Witch,
was
and he went
and that
and
was
he,
his origin.
He looked at one and
These
he
these
got
talks
all
always like remind me of what I need to like avoid and add in as a DM for you guys. I'm like, I should avoid these types of characters.
like
Okay. Before we end, I'll just hit some like highlights and just give some quick lightning thoughts
Okay,
on what we thought. Although I think we've covered quite a few of them.
there's one
But,
thing I want to mention before we end. But you go first.
Okay. Well, were there any Doctor Strange connections
Okay,
with his movie?
that's what I was gonna say.
Okay. Because
Apparently,
I
the homeboy
didn't find any.
he dropped some freaking melatonin before the show happened because he could probably see the freaking hex from where he is in New York because they're right over there in New Jersey. My homeboy couldn't wake up and go take a look real quick. What's happened, man? Get up! Get off your ass! I know it's Saturday. I
Bro,
know
he
it's
doesn't.
Saturday.
He doesn't even have to get up.
He's
he just
chilling.
can open a portal and
Right.
dip.
You can just open one eye, do a slingering thing while he's still sitting in bed, and look at Westview and be like, "Yo, what's up with that?" Because this didn't happen for a day. This happened for weeks, like
To be
several
fair,
weeks.
their budget was probably used on their high quality VFX. So
That's true.
Cucumber
The only
Patch
reference
was probably
I-
out of the budget.
The only reference I really that stood out to me was just the one where they're reading that book and it's like, you're more powerful than Doctor Strange. And like that to me, that's the only one that stood out to me. Was the name drop.
That thing at the end with Wanda astral projecting is also in Doctor Strange, where she's reading the book while she's doing other stuff in real life. That is also in
Is that just like a similar power they have?
Yeah, it's just a magic thing. Because Doctor Strange in his movie goes to sleep in the real world, but he's astral projecting and reading books. Like in the
Okay.
spirit world. So
Because I
that's-
was expecting like WandaVision to just like freak out and do something bad to the multiverse, and that's why from here, like the next movie's gonna be called Multiverse of Madness.
You would think so.
I mean, I don't know anything about Marvel Comics from this point on, but I thought that this was gonna like be the ground zero event for the rest of the story going forward, and it still might be, but just not the way
Yeah.
I think any of us were thinking.
I thought the exact same thing. I think that's why the Pietro thing is so disappointing to me, because I guess I had built up this expectation of how this was all going to work, and then it didn't go that way.
Yeah.
Because things
The only
have to
one
go
left
how I
here
want them
that
to.
we haven't covered was what did we think of the Scarlet Witch outfit?
I
Or
like
her
it.
final form.
But again, I didn't do Jeremy's. Woo!
Come on, Dylan, not even a little bit.
No.
Come on. It is a good outfit. I will say she looks maybe a little bit more like the Burgundy Bewitcher instead of the Scarlet Witch. I don't think
I think the colors could be
it wouldn't hurt
brought
for it
up
to
a
be a little
bit.
more red. I wouldn't mind if the Scarlet was actually Scarlet. That's all I'll say. But I love the crown. I'm in love with
crown's
the crown.
good.
I'm glad they got the crown in.
I wasn't crazy about it.
Oh man.
Isaac said he wasn't crazy about it. Is that what he said?
The poor levels.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what he said.
I saw it and I was just like, eh. It's okay.
How would you fix it? Like, what would you do?
I don't
to
know.
make it
That's the thing. I don't know what I would change. I think the major detractor for me was that, like, it just kind of came out of nowhere, I guess. Like, it just seems unjustified. Why is she getting a new outfit when she's discovered how, like, her potential? She's discovered how powerful she is, so she makes a new outfit.
I understand.
I don't get
feel
it.
ya. I think,
Seems kind of pointless to me, but hey, whatever. If you wanna give your character a new outfit, go for it. No harm
I wonder
done.
if it's something to do with being the Scarlet Witch, because I think even the Darkhold has her in the outfit in it, and then of course she saw it in the stone as well. So I wonder if it's like, you're the Scarlet Witch, here's a new outfit, babe. Which would be awkward if you're a dude and you're the Scarlet Witch. I guess you'd be the Scarlet Wizard, because then you'd have to fit in that outfit. That'd be a little, maybe uncomfortable, but you know,
There's probably
I-
already some art of it, some gender swap art.
probably. But I understand where you're coming
Well, I'm
from
sure it's already
with that.
existed. I guess in all the ways you could work in a Scarlet Witch outfit, and one that's traditionally kind of silly looking, it's not one of the worst ways to do it.
Yeah.
I guess I just enjoyed how much more fun the Halloween episode costumes were. With
Yeah,
how-
she could have just
I-
worn that. That would have been fun.
I like the Halloween costumes, especially
Obviously,
Visions
like-
with his yellow
Oh,
flowing
dude.
cape.
I was just gonna say the way his
So
cape flows when he's walking down that cul-de-sac is Woo!
Bro, I would take the Vision show where he literally just sits there and talks to random people. Like,
Just Paul Bettany just being silly, but he's in the
to be
Vision
honest,
outfit.
my single favorite moment of the show might be when he's at his job and he looks into the dude's head for the first time and he's
Yeah.
freaking out. Man, that
part
was
is
intense.
So good.
Really
I
nice
know.
job by the creators of the show.
You brought this up, Isaac, but I think I agree. I think it would have been awesome to have the show, because those early episodes when Vision is our protagonist looking into the mystery, if the whole show had been like that and he's like
Dude.
unraveling this world, would have been awesome.
Dude,
That would have been great.
as an editor, I just look at it and I go, man, I just would have cut all that stuff out and gone full mystery mode. Ugh,
Yeah.
It would have been so good. And then you don't have to worry about your characters in reality going, hey audience, this is what just happened.
She
'Cause you're-
cast Pietro?
You're yes, exactly. Your audience is smart enough to know. Like, why are you insulting your audience by going, hey, just in case you didn't see, Pietro's not Pietro. It's like, it was just so dumb. But overall, really enjoyed the show. Disappointed by the finale, but
Yeah.
we'll see if they can have lightning strike twice with what is it, Winter Soldier and Falcon?
Falcon and Winter Soldier,
I see.
which is only like a week or two away.
That's
It's,
crazy to think about.
week
So
from
we'll
now.
try to do some of that. I think the next thing we'll be doing is the Snyder Cut,
Oh, wow.
which is 1 week away. I know Jeremy's
Ready for
excited
me to
about that.
complain about 4x3?
Careful, Ethan. You'll create a chimpanzee out of Jeremy.
Yeah.
Hey, if he gets
So,
too
uh,
hyped,
He's
just
about to
say
go ape
just
mode
say
on you.
4x3 and he'll calm down a little bit, I'm sure.
Oh, man,
Yeah.
guys, that was weird. Somebody say 4x3? Oh, box! Tunnel vision!
I feel
Is
like
that
I'm in
like
the
the
early
aspect
2000s.
ratio?
Yeah.
Is
Yes.
that
Instead of
Okay.
being a nice wide rectangle, it's just a freaking square.
It's a square.
Really
Okay.
great squares.
Well, thank you guys for the return.
Land ho, Captain!
Thank you, Captain.
Yep, there's Jeremy's. There it is.
We've landed.
Thank you for the return. We'll be make sure to tackle Snyder Cut and then Falcon and Winter Soldier.